VW Grand California cannot be used off-grid. That's not my opinion, that's a fact, and in this video I'm going to explain how a Welshman saved my Norwegian road trip by fixing the camper van. Norway's Outdoor Recreation Act gives you the right to roam free, the right to travel the land, stay on the land, and also gather from the land. When planning this trip, I didn't want to be confined to campsites. I wanted to truly see Norway and get an authentic feel of what wild Norway is all about. Unfortunately for anyone with a VW Grand California, this isn't an option that comes without drawbacks. The electrical system simply doesn't work properly off-grid. So this video was about the beautiful country of Norway and how a Welshman saved our Norwegian road trip by enabling us to truly experience the most incredible country on earth. But before we start the story about how a Welshman saved our Norwegian road trip, we're hiking well up that way to the edge of a glacier, and the weather's nippy, it's cold, perfect. We've got a busy day today. All the trails here seem to be marked by red or pink or orange tea spray paint pretty much everywhere, which makes it relatively easy to follow. You can see a couple there. There's one there, there's another one there. A lot more and a lot better marked than what there would be back home. Now the sound already just coming around this corner from sort of a little bit of a sleepy river is being replaced by quite a big roar. I don't know if there's waterfalls and stuff here, presumably there is because the glacier is right above us, but hopefully we get to see something pretty spectacular just around the corner. I thought I'd stop with this beautiful scenery behind us to explain a little bit more about what I meant about getting the Grand California system fixed, because as it's been well documented now all over the internet, and especially on my channel and all my YouTube videos, the Grand California's got some fundamental flaws when it comes to, well, anything that revolves around being off-grid. Because it hasn't got an inverter and it's got a very small capacity leisure battery, then realistically, unless you're plugged into a campsite, you can't really use it off-grid. So just charging drone batteries, camera batteries and a couple of other bits, generally the leisure battery will be completely flat overnight if we've got the fridge on as well. And obviously you can't use plug sockets, so no hairdryer, no straighteners for the missus, no electric kettle or any of that either, so that's an issue. So we basically reached out to a few companies to see if anyone would be willing to help and fix some of the issues with the Grand California. There's literally a bloke that we drove past on the little sort of gravel track on the way in, and he was out running and he's just ran past us on his way down. He's literally ran to the top. I don't know what that's all about. Like, they made a different stuff here. Well, we made it to the top where you can see the glacier in its full glory. It's absolutely massive. I'm soaking, I've been sweating like mad, but the scenery and everything has just been, well, just Norway really. I think that should be the new word for beautiful, because everything about it's beautiful. So we finished the hike to the glacier. We're just replenishing some nutrients that we lost during the hike with a nutrient dense pot noodle. But anyway, we're off a couple hour drive to somewhere else now after we've had this. We're back to kind of what I was getting at previously. So the next step to try and fix the Gran California's issues was to get in touch with some companies that I thought might be able to help. I pinged quite a few of them an email and says, look, this is essentially the flaws of the Gran California, can you fix it and can you integrate it into the existing system? Now I sent that out to a fair few companies and, well, quite a few got back in touch. Most of them kind of says, look, we're willing to mess on with it, just not with your current system. We would put something alongside that you could use sort of side by side, which isn't what I was after. But there was one company that come back and says, we can do it. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later, because we're off now to, I think, the Viking town thing, Viking village. So we've arrived at the Viking village. It's a little bit chillier than it has been. This is the place we found it because of a YouTube video. And, well, it looks decent. So just said I can try archery and axe throwing. Where are they? Because that's what I want to try. How Viking this is. Jesus, I don't know how they lived in these sort of conditions. So Carl at Clayton Power getting in touch with us and basically says we're pretty certain we'll be able to get it to work, and he's been speaking to one of his technician dudes, and after a couple of back and forths and a bit of FaceTime to show him kind of what the setup of the Gran California is, they were like, yeah, I reckon we can do that. Obviously they don't normally do anything like this. They just kind of prototype where they're based. So what we had to do was we drove down to Cardiff, which is where they're based, stayed overnight, worked literally into the night to get it all integrated, get it tested, make sure it was working, because it was risky, because 3 days after that we started this trip, and well, up to now everything's been working absolutely perfectly. I'll put the spec list of what was installed on the screen now, and I am going to make more of a detailed video essentially explaining what it is and how it's been integrated and all the rest of it. But up to now, all I can say is it's literally allowed us to do all the things that we couldn't normally do with the Gran California without worrying about anything whatsoever. It's been absolutely perfect. The reason I said that a Welshman saved the Norwegian road trip well was because without that, and without Carl and without Clayton Power putting the balls on the table and saying, look, we can do it, and we're confident that our product will work exactly as we said it was, then realistically we would have either had to choose having a working electrical system or being able to park in places like this. And that might sound relatively stupid from someone who's got a camper van that costs as much as these do, but everyone with a Gran California is in the exact same boat unless you get something installed. And well, that's what we done, and it's absolutely changed this trip completely. I would never have been able to do this. In the next episode, we attempt to drive Norway's most dangerous road, Trollstigen, in a storm.